What's going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today I want to talk to you about SoFi. I want to give you a quick overview of some of the data points, what really moved it, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So SoFi closed 1.3% in the red. 17.17 the high, so a new 52-week high for SoFi. 16.17 the low. So a lot of volatility. I'll go over that once I go over the technicals and whatever else. But you did have retail sales come out today better than anticipated, so 0.7 the actual, 0.5 the forecast, and despite the better than anticipated data, you really didn't see any change to this. So the Feds are still possibly, or at least consensus-wise, 25 basis points is on the table. So that in reality is going to be a big thing for tomorrow. And at the same time, that's actually why the market did sell off, because of last-minute jitters associated to tomorrow, what Powell might say, as well as GDP and then PCE. So kind of an interesting day, and even specific to SoFi, there's a lot to talk on. So starting off, SoFi put this out first thing, 9 a.m. today. So 10 million members now getting their money right with SoFi. SoFi members have earned $1 billion in interest on savings, paid down $33 billion in credit card debt, borrowed $117 billion to fund their ambitions through September 30th, 2024. So very much deserving of a round of applause. The man himself even tweeted this on social media, and they also did put this out in the form of an 8K to make this very, very official, because of course this is, I guess, new information, right? So they did everything by the books. Very impressive stuff. So this came out today. You also had a lot of 144s and also Form 4s that have come out in the last 24 hours. I'm going to give you a quick summary of that, but ultimately, you had this individual, so Eric, who is the EVP, global, whatever, something, I don't know their exact title, but transaction code P, so straight up purchase, 30,599 shares at a price of $16.34 and bringing their grand total to 46,000. So very good stuff. Always like to see a transaction code P, so meaning that they use their own money. This was the very first instance that this individual did actually buy any stock. Other than that, it was just transaction code A, so awarded. So again, always a good thing, and you can kind of just generally see a lot of the transactions that have been occurring. And so yesterday, there was this that did come out. So Form 4 showed that during that same time period, so on the 16th, Anthony himself did sell some shares, 2 million to be exact. And a lot of people, what I was surprised on is nobody took this out of context. Everyone actually took the time to read through all of these kind of the notes down here, and the market didn't sell off. Normally, any other CEO selling anything for whatever reason, even if it's for tax purposes, sometimes can get misconstrued and be seen as a negative. But people saw this. Clearly, there was a lot of questions, though, so they did actually put out a 8K very first thing, went over the exact kind of parameters of this deal, how I guess Anthony was given 22.4 million. And that's probably why at the same time Anthony was buying so cheap when it was at like the $5-6 range, even $4s, because he, as far as my interpretation, he gets to keep the net proceeds from when he purchased compared to this price right here. So in reality, I think that is pretty good stuff in reality. So that's one thing that did happen. Today, after hours, you did have a couple Form 4s. So you had this individual right here sell 65,000 shares. That was done today. And so that's Stefan Simcock. And then you also had this 𝗖𝗓𝗡𝗖𝗧, whatever, 55,000 shares right here. Just so you know, it is transaction code. It's not for tax purposes. It is transaction code S, meaning straight up sell. So you can kind of see right here, just sell. So two others, you had Derek White, 64,000 right over here, and then just 141,000 by Jeremy. And I believe he's that individual going through the divorce. I think I said it wrong last time. And in case you're curious, this screen kind of shows it, how many shares they have afterwards, the total value and everything. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, let me know. I can kind of break it down, go every transaction that you ever need for whatever else. So yeah, like I said, a lot going on just in regards to SoFi today. Aside from that though, shorts did return 98,000 shares, and that was net. So they were fairly active today, so I'll go over that in a second, but 12.5% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 133.2 million shares overall are being shorted. Cost to borrow average is 0.65, back to normal for that cost to borrow minimum, so no kind of shady stuff going on in that regard. And just generally, you can kind of see shorts weren't really doing all that much. At the peak, they were returning around 1.7 million shares, so they kind of aided in kind of this section right here. But yeah, they weren't really doing all that much. Moving over to options, 40 million in calls, 11 million in puts. 38% of all the options being done today were bearish in nature. Even right here between 110 and 115, there was 9.4 million in premiums. And if we kind of click this and just look at what the premiums were, it was ultimately 3 big transactions, multi-leg transactions. So if you kind of look at it, someone is, if you kind of read between the lines, anticipating by January 16th, 2026 for it to be between $12 and $25. So that's kind of where big money is kind of estimating, and that's kind of a good thing. They did choose a little bit higher end on the bull side. So if it does go closer to the 25, they'll make a little bit more money. So yeah, that's interesting stuff in that regard. Aside from that though, of the call options that were purchased, you still see a consensus for it to be above roughly 1850 for the end of this week. So even though it did pull back today, market kind of realized what is coming this week, kind of called BS on today's pullback and buying calls. So again, that's something to kind of keep in mind. You also did see this abnormal amount, 4,000 purchased at that $20 strike price for this upcoming January. So still a lot of optimism. These are all the transactions that did occur on the secondary market above $100,000. So big money, very much getting in. 2.16, 5.8, 8.3. It's kind of funny now. I remember like a year ago covering SoFi, and if there was one big transaction, like let's say a $5 million transaction, I'd be like, hey man, look at that, that's clearly big money getting in. Now it's just like, okay, got another 5, got 8, got a 32. Like it's just like, okay, big money is just getting in now. 1.8. I remember, yeah, back in the day, oh my god, maybe they know something, some kind of crap like that, but now it's just normal. 12.8, like a lot of big money getting into SoFi, which generally is a good sign. With it closing at 1666, it is trading between this R2 and this R1, so 1647 is going to be a strong support. Just watch for that going forward. It did have a low of 1617, so kind of in between this pivot point, but $16.79 and then 1730 are going to be the following kind of resistance points. And so given tomorrow, as I've stated, I feel like that 25 basis point has already been priced into the market, so that won't be what moves it, but rather what Powell says afterwards. That most likely is going to be that X factor that really propels it higher, if so, because of course I think the consensus was that there was going to be maybe 3 rate cuts potentially in 2025. So we'll just have to wait and see what does happen. But no new analyst ratings today. So still, last one was done by Bank of America, $12 sell, downgrade. So kind of funny in that regard. And it is getting close to the end of Q4, so I'll continue to monitor if there's any changes to the estimates for the earnings per share, revenue, or anything along those lines. But as of today, on the actual chart itself, still very bullish. So it is above the ALMA, above all the key pivotal moving averages. Even in the shorter term, it's still a-okay to me. So I think today's consolidation was just absolutely normal. And even aside from that, the fact that shorts did return today when there is an excess of 10 million shares available, that's as bullish as it comes. There's a lot of stocks I do cover where shorts were really doubling down today. They clearly sensed blood and they're trying to take advantage of that. not necessarily the case with SoFi. So this is your quick summary. I don't know how long it's been, but I don't know if this is quick or not, but this is your summary for SoFi today. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. One final thing, I did launch a Patreon where I'm giving buy signals on stocks, options, and crypto. Many of them have been absolute bangers. So pop over there, take a look, and let me know your thoughts on that. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.